Have you ever stopped to think about who actually runs Canada or how decisions made in Ottawa affect your everyday life? Well, whether you're preparing for a quiz or just curious, let's explore how Canada's federal government works and why it matters. Canada is both a constitutional monarchy and a representative democracy. That means we have a monarch. Currently, that is King Charles III, but his role is mostly symbolic. In Canada, he's represented by the Governor General, Mary Simon. But the real power, that comes from us, the people. We elect representatives to make decisions on our behalf, and that's the foundation of our democracy. All of this is guided by the Constitution, which is like Canada's ultimate rule book, and it has 3 parts. Part 1 is the Constitution Act of 1867. Sometimes people will also say 1982. This lays out how government works. Second is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, that protects our rights. And third is the amending formula, which explains how the Constitution can be changed with approval from Parliament, and most provinces, also known as the 750 rule, which is 7 provinces with 50% of the population. The leader of the federal government is the Prime Minister. Right now, that is Mark Carney of the Liberal Party of Canada. To become a Prime Minister, you must, number 1, lead a political party. Number 2, win a seat in the House of Commons. And number 3, have your party win the most seats in an election. If that party wins 172 or more seats, then you form a majority government. Less than that, well, it's a minority government, and you'll need the support from the other parties to get things done. Parliament is where laws are made, and there are 3 parts. The House of Commons, where elected members of Parliament, also known as MPs, debate and vote on laws. The Senate, where appointed senators review those laws, and the Governor General, who gives final approval. That's called royal assent. So let's take a closer look at how MPs and senators compare. Members of Parliament work in the House of Commons. Senators work in the Senate. There are 343 seats in the House of Commons, whereas there are 105 in the Senate. Members of Parliament are elected by the voters, whereas senators are appointed by the Governor General on the recommendation of the Prime Minister. A member of Parliament is in term or lasts a term, which is usually the next election about every 4 years, whereas a senator stays until 75 or death. Members of Parliament, they represent constituents and, of course, their political party, whereas senators represent regions and minorities. Laws start as ideas. A cabinet minister usually identifies a problem, proposes a solution, and drafts a bill. That bill goes through several stages in both the House and Senate. There's readings, there's debates, and there's committee reviews. Once both houses approve it, the Governor General gives it royal assent. Then it becomes law. The Senate's job is to provide sober second thought, which is a careful review to ensure fairness and effectiveness. Canada has multiple political parties, each with a party platform, which is a set of ideas and policies they believe in. This gives voters some real choices. The party with the second most seats becomes the official opposition. Their job is to challenge the government and keep it in check. The leader of the opposition, the current leader of the opposition, is Pierre Poilievre of the Conservative the Conservative Party, and he plays a key role in debates and accountability. A majority government can pass laws easily because it has at least 172 seats, because they're over half. But a minority government, it needs support from other parties. If it loses a key vote, like let's say a budget vote, it's called a motion of non-confidence, and that can trigger a new election. Minority governments often face two really big challenges. Number one, obviously, because they have less than 50% of the seats, it's harder to pass laws. And another challenge is that elections can happen more often. In Canada, we use a first past the post system. So whoever gets the most votes in a riding wins the seat. But this doesn't always reflect the popular vote, which is the total number of votes each party gets across the country. That's why some people argue for proportional representation, where seats match the percentage of voters. The Prime Minister doesn't just lead the country. They also make key appointments. These include appointing cabinet ministers who run government departments, appointing senators who review laws, and appointing Supreme Court justices, judges, who interpret the law. When building a cabinet, the Prime Minister often tries to reflect Canada's diversity. So they consider the regions, they consider sex, they consider culture, all of the background that cabinet ministers and experience that they can bring to government. So, members of Parliament, are they elected or are they appointed? Members of Parliament are elected. Senators are appointed. Who chooses members of Parliament? Voters in a riding choose them, whereas senators are appointed from the recommendation of the Prime Minister, and the Governor General appoints them. Members of Parliament, again, are accountable to their constituents and political parties, whereas senators are accountable to their regions and minorities. The judicial branch interprets laws and ensures they follow the Constitution. At the top of the Supreme Court of Canada, with 9 judges, 9 justices. They're appointed by the Prime Minister and act as a check on the other branches of government. So why does all this matter? Because understanding how our government works helps us make informed choices. So whether you're voting, maybe debating, or like right now, maybe you're just learning, you are a part of Canada's democracy. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something.